feel sorry for them. I don't want to have to, nuke the DMZ. But if they do strike us first, I think they may be crazy enough to do it, then it's going to take a major commitment to make sure they can't counter-respond.
You're buying into all the garbage that's passed out there by the deep state and neoconservatives and the media. My suggestion very clearly on what we should do is we should allow the South Koreans to talk to the North Koreans. What's wrong with that? They're the ones that have everything at stake, and we don't even allow them to do that. And yet they're willing to. Just last week, the South Koreans, in an effort to break this conflict, they sent a couple $1 million to North Korea to take care of some of the people, the kids that are suffering from our sanctions. The people suffer. We kill people. We killed almost 1 million Iraqis with our sanctions before we went to war. And all these sanctions do is just provoke the bitterness. We need to allow. Why do we prohibit the South Koreans from talking to the North Koreans?
By the way, Madeleine Albright,
we did that in Vietnam.
I mean, certainly, this is a great example of how communism's a horrible nightmare like Venezuela.
Well, I still think that you're seeing them as a much greater threat. And when I was drafted in 1962 over the Cuban crisis, there was a real hot Cold War going on at the time. But we had danger then. The Soviets had 30,000 nuclear missiles and weapons. But we didn't provoke or thought we had to get rid of them. We actually dealt with them. Kennedy talked to them and, got rid of that crisis we had in Cuba. That North Korea, they don't have this capability. It's not. China is not. It is not interested, not in their interest to allow this guy to provoke and get into a war with us. So that isn't quite accurate to say that they're in cahoots with China and they have nuclear bombs and all this sort of thing. And I think that we should allow South Korea to start having negotiations. Let China and Russia, they're involved more. They should be more involved than us. Let them monitor the talk.
Dr. Paul.
But why are we 6,000 to 7,000 miles away? Once again, we've been involved in a civil war that's been going on endlessly. It's time we stopped it.
Courage. Let's Kim Jong-un. So I understand you can say we're ganging up on North Korea, and the people hurt are the poor folks in it. That's true. I'm not saying you're wrong. But what about the dictators? What about the horrible, evil leaders of the nation? What are we supposed to do about them?
Well, Alex, you're speaking for the neoconservatives. That's their line of talk of why we have to do this. And I'm just arguing it's totally unnecessary. It didn't work. You admit it didn't work in Vietnam, and we should have done that differently, and we're friends with them. We win more in peace than we do in war, but we've been in Korea. This whole thing is just based on a lot of misconceptions. I think our administration has accepted neocon lies, and they're going with it. But
and I agree with you. What is your advice to President Trump?
Bring the troops home. I would advise him just what my position has been for years. Get out of interventionism. Bring the troops home. Get out of all this Get out of Syria, out of Iraq, the whole works. Start dismantling our empire. Get all our troops out of Korea and allow people to settle their own dispute, but not to join this neocon effort to continue to run the world and distort the truth, because they love the wars in the Middle East, and now the neocons are behind all this activity, why we have this great enemy, the North Koreans.